Uh, hey guys, so this is Varun, and today I'm going to take you through a breakdown of this scene. Actually, the main file got deleted, and I don't have the final file, but I'll just show you what all I have used in the scene and what all I had to do to achieve this result. So, first of all, I have this road. So, let me switch to a better lighting. This looks good, yeah. So now you can see that the road, just FYI before I start, that everything in this scene is procedural except for this thing, that is the background image and the characters that are standing over here and the lamp that I have. So apart from that, everything is procedural. So that includes the chain fences, that includes the railings or the rail tracks, that includes the road, the textures on these things. These are all procedural, and even the cobblestone things that we have here, these are all procedural. So like I was saying, that let me just walk you through this thing really quickly. What I'll do is I'll just show you. I think this is this one. No, not this one. Custom nodes, yep, sorry about that. Yeah, this one. So this is a pack that I'm planning to release later this year or maybe next year, I'm not sure yet, but I'm planning to release this pack. So like you can see that I have a lot of node based networks in Blender. These are all geometry based networks and you can just use them from the set browser. So as you can see that importing that into the scene, I have a whole cobblestone path that automatically that is textured, and it is textured pretty nicely. And if you go into edit mode, this is a curve that you're working with. If I just go and include the curve, like you can see, the path is getting extended and we have got more cobblestone. This is a dense one because to generate even the cobblestone and the textures on this thing are procedural, so there's a lot of overlap on the circular parts or the curve path, and on the straight path it's a bit less sparse, but yeah, we have this thing. So the texture for this thing is pretty simple. Procedural stones, yep, that's one. So like you can see that I have a texture coordinate and I'm getting the object position, then I'm mapping it onto that, then I'm using some noise texture to drive a color ramp. The factor of the noise texture will depend on the color ramp, and then I'm doing a random per island that is being multiplied and a darker color. So like you can see that there's a base color for the cobblestones and then it's getting darker. Some of them are darker, so it's based off of the random per island. Again, we are getting the normal values and the roughness values from the same texture itself, right? Okay, so this is one thing. So wait, let me use my tool, the purge tool. Yep. So this is one. Now we have, I'll just delete this, I'll just purge the scene to make it a bit less heavier. So now this is the road texture that I have. So the road, like you can see, as the name suggests, it generates a road, and I'm just going to use a lighter texture here. So you can see that the road has been generated, and I'm just going to turn off denoising. So like you can see that the texture, again, the texture on the road is also procedural, and you can control anything from the geometry nodes on the right side. So this includes the inner line offset. So like you can see that the white line is moving, then the thickness, then the gap between the dots or the shapes that we have, and they're based off of a noise texture. So yeah, these are procedural. You can change the color, so anything you want, anything you want. Again, everything is procedural in this thing. So a pavement, do we need a pavement or not? We can also turn that on or off. Like right now I don't have any custom setup for a pavement, but yes, I can change the height of the pavement, I can change the width of the pavement, and even I can change the correction distance. So what is the correction distance? If you look at this, that if you make a very deep curve or a very big curve, so there are some gaps due to the way the pavement is made. So there's some gaps formed. So to just correct this thing, we have the correction distance. It will correct the thing. So if there are more gaps, you can increase this thing. And the material for the pavement, again, you can select any material. Road width, subdivision of the road, anything, everything works. So this is the road generator, but that one uses a different setup. I'll show it to you later. Okay, let me just go to the Rails. So this thing is the main asset that I have. This is the real asset that I have. Like you can see that there's some texture. It's generated texture, so there's some stretching and stuff. So that's nothing great, but it does the job in the distance. So there's some rust on the tracks and everything. Now you can see that I have a lot of. I'm not sure like what's wrong with this one. Interesting. I'll just check it out. But yeah, this is the thing. I have the. This is again a curve. If I want to extrude it, I'll just move it here and there. So now you can see that this thing is adjusting to the height changes also. Right? If I just move it down, so it's adjusting to the height changes. It gets a bit messed up, but yeah. It's not perfect, but it does the job for your straight rails. Right? I'm not sure like what's wrong with it, but again we have the same what do you call that? The same options that we have, and the width of the plank, the thickness of the plank and stuff. Right, we can change everything, and we can even change the bolt offset that we have bolts on the train track, so we can even change these. So now if I just turn this off, next we have the electricity pole. As the name suggests, this generates a pole, and we have a bunch of options. So you can change the height, the width of the main pole, height of the thing, the base height. Light settings is, do you need a light or do you not need a light? So light is just this thing that I have. This is a bit modular, so you can have different aspects or different variations of the thing. If you need a light, if you don't need a light, you can even put in multiple lights in a collection of your own. Like you can see that I have lights over here, so you can put it in them. So you can see like if you want to displace the whole thing, if you have made a right or something, so you can just control the positioning of the light and stuff, right? It depends. Now we have the wire. So do we need the wire that you can see over here? This wire that's missing now, this one. So if I just turn it on, so you have the settings for the wire below here. The circular box, whether you need the circular box or not. This is just like kind of some props for the electricity pole. I'm not sure like what exactly this is, but it looked cool, and I looked for a few references and it was present in those, so I was like, okay, sure, why not. Then the power box is the box at the bottom of the whole thing. So you can also modify this thing, and then you can change the top of the pole. So like you can see that I have this thing right now, but you can change the scale, the displacement and everything for these things. So yeah, it is also pretty modular. Next we have a hanging wire. So as the name suggests, suppose I have two poles. The second pole, or I could say the wire, would be something like this, that can change. Oh, where did it go? Yeah. So this thing, like you can see that this is a hanging wire. You can just plug it down to the other pole, and you can just animate this thing. So this thing is animated. I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll see. Like you can see that the thing is moving. So you can change the speed. Now it will move. You can change the radius of the whole thing, the thickness, the droop, how much it is drooping or how much is it not drooping. It's forming an arc. You can form these whole things, and yeah, that is it for this one. Again, these are still a work in progress. None of them are final, so you won't be seeing them anytime soon. But yeah, this thing is interesting. The IV generator was pretty good. So this thing, as the name suggests, it generates an IV based off of the walls you give to it. Let's turn this off. I'll just have this. So if I just drag it around here, I'm not sure. Yeah. So now you can see that this is sticking to the walls. So right now you can see that some plants are sticking. Right now it's too far away from the walls, so it won't stick. But like the ivy sticks, so like you can see that it grabs onto the surface of the things. So it is grabbing onto that, right? And you can see that if I go behind, so it will grab onto the whole thing. It will grab behind and stuff. So it automatically interpolates between stuff. So it is also, I guess it is useful. Suppose you want to populate the scene with something, so it will work. The textures on these things are procedural, and like this one is not procedural because we actually have leaves that have been modeled to work for this particular use case, but let me just show you. Leaves, yes, this thing. So yeah, we have this, then this, and we'll just isolate this, and we'll just go into this. This is the leaf that you have made. We'll just use a single texture to make a 3D leaf. We just copy pasted the whole plane a bunch of times, and that's it. Right, so in this thing, the main thing that I want to show you is, okay, this is not what I was hoping. This works. The thing, this works, right? Yep, this works. You can tell. Let me just turn off wireframe, and that's it. X-ray. So in this thing, if you look at it closely, I'll just give you a brief. You can see that there are puddles on the floor, right? And there seems to be raindrops on the puddles. And if you play the whole scene, it will be a bit blurry, but you can see that the puddles are animated, or the rain is animated on this thing. So how have I achieved this? I just took the base material that I had from before, and I used the procedural road material. So I'll just bring it up over here. Procedural road, this one, and this is the whole thing. So we have the parameters for the road. So this is the road material that I have based off of the Geo Nodes thing. So for controlling the line width and stuff, generating yellow lines. And this is a puddle of water that I made. This is another network that I have, and this thing has been merged together with this one to form the rainy road that we have. So yeah, this is the whole scene. Again, this had a lot of compositing also, but sadly I lost the file, and this is a previous version of the file that I found on GitHub. So I'm very sorry that I cannot share the original file with you. I really like the scene, but yeah, you can find, this was essentially the breakdown of the whole thing, that everything is procedural, including this. And yeah, the chained fences, these are from Curvify. Curvify is nothing, just an add-on that I bought. It's from CG Matter. He is one of the original people because of whom I started using Geometry Nodes. So this is the add-on, you can get it and you can use it if you want. So this has a lot of things, so you can see this has a lot of options that you can use, and this is pretty good. Like, I use the change fences from here, so a huge shout out to CG Matter, or you could say Default Cube if you guys know him. So yeah. That was a breakdown of the scene. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.